My best friend sees our relationship differently than me and I don't know what to do. I have been best friends with Jenny since 2nd grade. We have grown up together, had fights and became like sisters. In middle school her parents separated and she became more distant from her dad. As besties, she'd always vent to me about family issues over the years. Eventually high school came around and we ended up going to different schools. At her new school she became really close with a girl named Emily who I knew from club soccer before Emily and Jenny were friends. Jenny and Emily grew super close, but I didn't really know too much about their friendship at first. Then in 2021, Jenny decided to switch to my high school. When she arrived, I introduced her to my other best friends, Lisa and Sarah, who she immediately clicked with. I loved Lisa and Sarah too, so I was glad Jenny fit right in with my friend group. Over time and especially during COVID lockdowns, I truly thought my bond with Jenny had gotten even stronger, though looking back now, I'm not sure it actually did. She was still talking to Emily constantly at her old school and also spending a ton of time with Lisa and Sarah from my friend group. I have to admit, I often caught myself feeling jealous about it all, since I was dealing with some drama of my own in my friend circle. I started to notice Jenny just wasn't telling me as much anymore or confiding in me the way she used to. We didn't really talk about her family issues with her dad anymore. She got a new boyfriend who I never even met, and she didn't seem to make as much effort to hang out with Lisa, Sarah, or me anymore. I definitely overthought the changes in our friendship a lot, but I never actually brought up my concerns to her about it. Then one day at a school retreat, we had this bonding activity where everyone had to draw a table showing their favorite people. It could be friends, family, whoever was most important to them. So of course I drew Jenny on my table without hesitation. As we went around sharing our drawings, Jenny went first out of the two of us. She started explaining the people she had drawn, mentioning her parents, grandparents, Lisa and Sarah for supporting her through tough times, etc. My curiosity got the better of me, so I glanced over at her paper and immediately noticed she had drawn 2 names that started with E. In my mind, I just assumed one of them must be me, considering our super close history as BFFs. When she got to describing the first E person, she went on about how they were such an amazing friend to her who helped her become a better person, who was there for her through her family issues with her dad, and who welcomed her when she changed schools. I immediately started beaming with a big smile, just waiting excitedly for her to say that E was me, since she built them up so much. But then she said, it was Emily. I was completely taken aback and shocked in the moment. And then she went on to say the other E she had drawn was her dog Ellie. My heart instantly sank and I felt it shatter. I was so confused and honestly couldn't believe she hadn't included me. I had this sudden urge to just not mention Jenny at all when it was my turn to share my drawing. But I pushed that feeling away and ended up taking the high road by talking about what a special bond I had with her whole family, even if she hadn't drawn me herself. After that activity, I just couldn't even make eye contact with Jenny for the rest of the day. I was still trying to process my shock that it was actually true she didn't consider me important enough in her life anymore to include me. I kept thinking maybe I just hadn't tried hard enough to talk to her directly about the changes in our friendship before this point. But she was busy running around with Lisa and Sarah for the rest of the retreat anyway, so I didn't get a chance to bring it up. Later that day during a big group circle time with our closest friends, Jenny made a comment asking me something like why didn't we ever have late night conversations about typical teen stuff like relationships and crushes anymore. I was pretty taken aback by the question, considering what had just happened earlier, so I just quickly mumbled something about being tired and changed the subject. After the retreat, I started reflecting on even more signs I had maybe overlooked about the growing distance between me and Jenny. Like how she would never say hi first if we passed each other in the halls at school, or how it always took her at least 6 hours if not longer to respond to my texts, even though I knew for a fact she was on social media and her phone constantly. I was also always the one who had to initiate any conversations between us at this point. And she never bothered to stop by my house anymore, even though we literally lived just a block or 2 away from each other. The more I thought about it, the more confused, hurt, and sad I felt. I know it's normal for friendships to change and priorities to shift as you grow older, but I was still really struggling to understand and process this change with Jenny. I cried about it to my mom because it was just such a sudden shock to the system after so many years of closeness. At this point, it really seems clear to me that Jenny is just keeping me around when it's convenient for her and she has nothing better to do. After evaluating the history of our friendship, I'm realizing it's probably time I start taking a big step back from this one-sided relationship and conveying the same lack of effort she's showing towards me. I just honestly don't know how else I should handle this going forward. The idea of losing my oldest, closest childhood friend hurts a lot, but I can't keep putting in all the effort to maintain something she doesn't seem to value anymore. I could really use advice on how to navigate this tricky situation.